everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be bringing to you a frontal wig construction, not handmade, but on the sewing machine. Stay tuned. This be wavy. So overall, my construction, handmade or on a sewing machine, the techniques that I do beforehand as far as cap resizing is really the same. I pull all the material from the back to the front and just try to make sure that I get it as tight as possible. The reason why cap resizing is important is because not everyone's head is the same size or the same shape. So when you resize the cap, you're pulling all of that extra material that's going to cause the wig to be baggy and look bulky on top of the head to ensure that it fits flat onto their head and you get that smooth, flawless finish every time. So this is a hair store frontal. Honestly, I was not disappointed in the lace, considering that it is from the hair store. But the only thing that was like weird to me was it was like a whole rectangle. Like, I know you see that line at the bottom is choppy. That's because I had to cut that. So I had to shape this frontal just so I could position it on the cap and sew it down. This be wavy. So once I got the frontal positioned how I needed it, I went ahead and started stitching it down from the middle down one side, and then I went back to the middle and stitched it down to the other side. That way I could ensure that it was laying flat and that one side wasn't pulling too far to the other or anything like that. This be wavy. So now I'm going in with an oil-based Sharpie to draw my lines. And these are, I mean, you can do this for hand stitching as well if you need it. But this is mainly for like sewing machine wigs. So that way when you're sewing the hair when you're sewing the hair onto the to the cap, you don't lose track of where you're going. That way you can follow the straight line and make sure everything's nice and flat. Now that my lines are drawn, I'm going to go ahead and bleach the knots. And while I'm bleaching my knots, I am going to double my tracks just to, kill time. But you want to mix your bleach in a thick paste-like consistency. You don't want it to be too runny to where it just drips through the lace. And then it's bleaching the hair and the roots and not just the knots. Because we're not lifting the entire wig. We're not doing any kind of blonde on the the whole wig process. We just want the knots to lift. That's it. At this point, I've began construction. I want to say I probably already have like one or two tracks sewn down. This is not a detailed construction video. I'm just showing y'all. Well, this is just really like a watch me work. I'm showing y'all how I work through my process. But yeah, just sewing the tracks down on the cap, all nice and neat. Woo! Also, if you didn't know, when making a wig on a sewing machine, you want to make sure you backstitch over the end of the track a couple of times to make sure it's secured and that it's not going anywhere and that you can honestly offer the quality that you promise your clients. This be wavy. So now I'm plucking the frontal. It was already, honestly, the hairline on this wasn't super dense. Could I have plucked it better? Sure. Did I know what I was doing at the time? Not as well as I do now. So stay tuned for an updated plucking tutorial. So my client wanted some highlights, just like a touch of them, nothing too bright. So I am going in and doing kind of like a freehand balayage or ombre balayage, whatever you want to call it. Either way it goes, freehand. Okay, there were no foils used in this process. I just literally sectioned the hair out, slapped some bleach on, blended it, and called it a day. This is the finished product. Like I said, I could have plucked the hairline more than I did, but you know, you live and you learn. Honestly, with this being like one of the first frontal units I've made in a while, and all of this hair, like the bundles and the frontal, are all from the hair store, I think this frontal really came out bomb. So for those who say you can't, be bomb on the budget, here you go. I'll try to link the brands of the hair that I use down in the description box below, so that way you can go ahead and try to recreate this look for yourself at home. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like. Well, yeah, that's what thumbs up is, liking. So yeah, don't forget to like, leave a comment down below, subscribe, and stay tuned for my next video.